somebody up County Road 3 or 49.
A trail of storm damage left across central and west Alabama.
God, it just took a toll on them, especially to see, his mobile home tore up.
Homes destroyed, trees snapped, and dozens of lives put in danger. Tonight, we have team coverage from some of the hardest hit areas.
Live from CBS 42 News with local coverage you can count on. Here's what's happening right now.
Oh, that's loud. We got to move, you guys. We got to move. We're driving away from this right now. It's behind us as we speak. Oh, my gosh. Oh, my gosh. We're seeing it right now. We're seeing debris in the air.
They're seeing debris in the air.
That's our reporter Jamie Ostroff. We saw it unfold live, these storms here today. Damage all over the place. Welcome in tonight. I'm Jim Dunaway.
And I'm Lee Garner in for Sherry Jackson. It's definitely a day that will be remembered as the trail of damage is left lingering.
From Jefferson to Pickens County, Mother Nature leaving its mark today. Since late afternoon, we've been on the air bringing you up-to-the-minute coverage as it happened. We'll get to the damage in just a moment. But first, a weather alert is still in effect in the Storm Track Weather Center. Let's bring in meteorologist Nate Harrington. Nate, what's happening the rest of the evening?
Well, we still have storms to talk about right now in central Alabama. Still a weather alert day. These storms are packing a punch, and it's all because of what's left of Harvey. Yeah, we're going to be talking about this for a very, very long time. Harvey's impacts now felt in central Alabama this evening and this afternoon. Let's look at this line of storms that's now racing through central Alabama as we speak. No severe thunderstorm warnings and no tornado warnings right now. So all of the severe weather threat, I'm not going to say it's done, but right now it's fairly diminished. Let's take a look at some of the strongest hit areas. Now we've got a line of storms from St. Clair County down through Shelby County. We also go down to the south, a pretty healthy thunderstorm moving through Chilton County, and then back up to the north through Blount County and into Etowah County. These showers and thunderstorms moving very steadily to the east as these bands from Harvey keep on moving through Alabama. We'll have more details on what you can expect for the rest of the night and into your Labor Day weekend coming up in the forecast in just a few minutes. Lee?
Hey, thanks, Nate. One of the areas that received heavy damage today is Reform. CBS 42 News reporter Jamie Ostroff beginning our team coverage tonight from Pickens County.
It's been a terrible day here in Reform since those tornado sirens went off before 4 o'clock this afternoon. Check this out. I'm in a community that was very much flattened. Look at all this debris just tossed about like a pile of pickup sticks. We see just what is left of rooms. It's hard to even tell. There's a door right here on the ground. Everything just scattered in pieces all over here. And if you look this way, we have downed power lines, an unsafe situation. Police tonight not letting people pass through this neighborhood. You see what's left of a mailbox there on the ground. This isn't the only place in Reform that was hit by today's storm. Angie McDaniel got out of her house and into a storm pit moments before this happened.
You could hear it roaring and you could see it. I mean, it was just coming over, but I never dreamed. It was hitting, it was touching down. It was hitting down here.
The farm along Highway 17 now in shambles.
You see this storage shed? It was sitting over there. And it picked it up from there and moved it to there. And it's got a motorcycle in it. The motorcycle's up under all that. And there is a car. There was a carport there.
The house uninhabitable, but McDaniel says she and her fiance will have a place to stay.
And it's going to take some time. It's going to take some time, but he's going to rebuild it back.
Though I did hear some reports from residents of loss of livestock, I did not hear any reports of loss of human life. In Reform, Jamie Ostroff, CBS 42 News, local coverage you can count on.
And more damage spreading across our area in the small town of Palmetto, also in Pickens County. Our team coverage continues with CBS 42 News reporter Jack Royer.
Tonight, all that's left of a mobile home is behind me, littered in this tree that also was uprooted in a tornado that took just seconds to destroy everything in its path. At this mobile home in Palmetto, no death or injuries, but total destruction. This home and everything inside blown through the air. Homeowners left wondering what to do as their families comforted them in disbelief.
How has this affected you guys today?
Oh my God, it just took a toll on them, especially to see, his mobile home tore up. And he worked at the Chevrolet place, and he struggled to pay his house payment.
Now the house and everything in it thrown across the front yard as Mother Nature's fury shows its full force. The most personal possessions now left to be picked up, but with a good spirit.
It's a tomorrow. Just don't give up hope and have God in your life, and thank God that did nothing really happen because this material things.
The mobile home destroyed, but the people inside unharmed. Now the American Red Cross will find them a place to spend the night. Reporting in Pickens County, Jack Royer, CBS 42 News, local coverage you can count on.
Now, as the storm looped back around to West Jefferson County, it dumped more rain in the Bessemer area. Stefan Dingle joining us now live in Bessemer, where floodwaters washed through the streets in some areas. Stefan?
Good evening, Lee. We're here at Highway 150 and 9th Avenue here in Bessemer. You can see from the street here as cars go through, there's a small puddle in the middle, but that was not the story just 20 minutes ago. If you take a look at the footage we shot when we got here to the scene, you see there were floodwaters at every part of the intersection here in Bessemer. And when people went through, you know, we thought this was going to stay here, but I guess the good news in all this is that the drains do work here in Bessemer. So heavy flooding, it was just a small issue. Now, one thing we have seen just standing here in the past few minutes is just beyond my view, beyond the camera, we saw a bluish green light tint to the sky twice, and it happened for about 4 to 5 seconds, and we assumed that those are transformers that were blowing up, and that happened literally just 2 minutes before we came here on air. So again, the effects of the storms has been felt all day. I guess the good news here is that we don't have to worry about floodwaters anymore, which was affecting some of these businesses around here in Bessemer. But now reporting live, Stefan Dingle, CBS 42 News, local coverage you can count on.
All right, Stefan, thank you. Let's move down to Bibb County now in the Eola community. Several trees were knocked down, blocking access to a school, to some homes, and a church there. James McConaughey on the ground for us, continuing our team coverage with this report.
I'm out here on Ward School Road in Eola, where there's about 6 large trees blocking the road. Some of them have been pulled up by the roots. Some of them snapped off up high. Now, I spoke with a man who lives nearby, and he said he was standing on his front porch not far from here when he heard the storm pick up and the trees go down.
Me and him, the one that just left from here, Joey, we went out there to listen, you know, and watch. Right, we heard the noise and we got back in the house. I counted 6 trees that's across the road, and there's some, you know, that fell the other way, like you see that big root base on that and over there. And you see the top side of some more there, little smaller ones. It's a good wind to do that.
He said Bibb County officials are aware. They're currently moving trees off the road at another location, but he expects they should be here soon. Now, this road leads to several homes and a church. Thankfully, I'm told no one was hurt in any of these homes. None of these structures were damaged, but the size of these trees that are down here, this was obviously a very powerful storm. In Eola, James McConaughey, CBS 42 News, local coverage you can count on.
A lot of property damage there, but the weather made us have some concern for life, created problems for some area outdoor sporting events, with many schools canceling games this afternoon. But at Samford University, they decided to play their football game and had to send fans scrambling after halftime during a tornado warning. CBS 42 News reporter Michael Clark live in studio with us now, Michael, you talked to some of those fans from the state of Georgia.
Yeah, that's right. The visiting team, Kennesaw State, is from outside of Atlanta, near my hometown, actually, and several fans made the trek to the game. Some checked out the radar on the way here, but didn't expect to hear tornado sirens during the visit.
A soggy opening game for the Samford Bulldogs. Fans on both sides were ready for the halftime break, but didn't expect they'd spend more than an hour in their cars or parking lots waiting for the storm to pass.
And then they said, you've got to leave the stadium. Bad weather's coming, a tornado warning, and you got to leave the stadium.
Chris Pike and his crew came from Georgia and was in the parking lot when we saw lightning strikes. The rain continued coming down through the delay.
This is a first for me, having to leave the stadium for a tornado warning.
Now, we've actually been checking on Twitter, and we just learned from the Samford football team that they're actually going to pick up this game starting at 10:45. That score 10-7 after halftime. For now, reporting live in the studio, Michael Clark, CBS 42 News, local coverage you can count on.
All right, Lee Garner has been manning our social media desk all evening long. She's down there now. And Lee, viewers have sent us pictures and video of the storms rolling in throughout the day. Some of those images have been really dramatic.
Oh yeah, absolutely, Jim. Our viewers have shared images of some pretty impressive and even frightening funnel clouds, videos of that rotation, and some very haunting images of the damage in some of those hardest hit areas. We want you to take a look. We're going to take this full screen. The majority of these images coming in from some of the earlier storms. This one coming in from Eolin. This one as well. Those trees down in the roads. We were getting these out of Bibb County later on in this evening. Here's one of the earlier images we got, though. This was actually from Phil Campbell looking southeast. Thanks to Alan Bagwell for sending that to us. Some of these hard hit pics coming to us from the Pickens County Herald out of Reform. Some of that damage just really startling to see. These images coming to us from Fayette. Lots of images coming in from West Alabama of the vegetation out there. This also from Fayette out there at the Fayette County Country Club. We want to thank Caroline Newton and Cameron Daly for sending us those images. And we want to thank everyone who sent these images in to report it. We want to encourage you, keep doing that. When you see news in your area, just please always make sure that you are doing so safely. Jim?
All right, Lee, I enjoyed chatting to a lot of our viewers on Twitter earlier today. Now to the latest with the tropical depression Harvey, the death toll now up to at least 29. The rain has come to an end in flood-ravaged Texas, but rescue and recovery efforts are still ongoing. The entire city of Beaumont lost its water supply today, forcing the evacuation of an entire hospital. Vice President Mike Pence traveled to the town of Rockport today, clearing debris there and offering some comforting words to the folks there. Meanwhile, according to the White House, President Donald Trump will donate $1 million of his own money to a relief organization in the wake of Hurricane Harvey. The president is scheduled to visit the Houston and Lake Charles areas of Texas coming up on Saturday. Elsewhere tonight, covering Walker County, a Confederate flag display is causing a controversy in one neighborhood, but it's not only the display that has some residents raising concerns. The home in Carbon Hill is controversial for the flag, and another decoration is that dummy that was put up there 3 years ago. The person who put it up says they put it up as a Halloween decoration, and it pretty much has stayed up there from that point forward. We'll have reaction on that story tomorrow on our news at 5, 6, and 10. Right now, Sam Hunt fans are gearing up for a great big house party, one of his hits, right here in Birmingham. For those of you who don't know, the country music superstar has had a #1 hit all year. Was a starting quarterback at UAB back in the day. He'll be back in Birmingham tomorrow to kick off the Blazers' big return to the college football field. UAB students are really excited about the weekend. The Sam Hunt concert tomorrow night, 7 o'clock down at Uptown. They're planning to party whether it rains or shines. My bet's on raining these days, but you never know, I guess.
Either way, it should be a lot of fun. Okay, so the controversy surrounding Wells Fargo is getting worse.
That major bank chain now says more people were impacted by its fake account scandal than first thought. An update on the millions of customers being affected by those fake accounts.
And the very first approval of gene therapy for treating cancer. It's being called a historic event. Details on the FDA's approval of a new treatment. New at 10, Wells Fargo says more people were impacted by its fake account scandal than they first thought. The bank now says employees opened accounts without the knowledge of 3.5 million customers. That number was 2.1 million when the scandal first broke nearly a year ago. Wells Fargo also found a new problem: hundreds of thousands of potentially unauthorized online bill pay enrollments. The bank is now paying out millions in refunds and settlements.
Today is the 20th anniversary of the death of Princess Diana, and fans and friends from around the world are marking the day with touching tributes and memorials, and even on social media. Fans are visiting outside Diana's former London home at Kensington Palace.
Yeah, 2 decades later, memories of Princess Diana still live on in the hearts of millions. Princess Diana and her boyfriend Dodi Fayed died in a car crash 20 years ago today. Prince Harry and Prince William believe the paparazzi who hounded their mother that night are partly to blame for her death. Above the tunnel where Diana died, people who admired the princess still come to remember her. Some of Diana's most famous friends are also honoring her. Singer Elton John posted a photo with Diana on Instagram, writing, "20 years ago today, the world lost an angel."
New at 10, plans to put Harriet Tubman on the $20 bill may not be a sure thing. In 2016, the Obama administration's Treasury Secretary said the abolitionist and former slave would appear on a new version of the bill. It'd be the first time a woman has appeared on U.S. paper currency in over 100 years, and the first time ever for an African-American woman. But current Treasury Secretary Steve Mnuchin says they are looking at the issue, but it's not something that he is, quote, focused on at the moment. Tubman would be a stark contrast to Andrew Jackson, whose face is currently on the $20 bill. Jackson does have one very important advocate, though, President Donald Trump, who said taking Jackson off the 20 would be, quote, pure political correctness, end quote.
Well, some big health news today. The very first approval of gene therapy for treating cancer is being called a historic event. The FDA approved a treatment that engineers a patient's own blood cells to fight cancer. It's the first type of gene therapy to hit the U.S. market. It's already being used to treat children dying from leukemia. They are now cancer-free. The treatment reprograms a patient's own cells to destroy cancer and then multiply to continue fighting the disease for months or even years.
Boy, the animal kingdom's amazing. You know, fire ants are known to huddle up in a clump and float on the surface of the water. This is the scene in Houston. Those are fire ants, folks, all grouped together, taking turns, I assume, one on the bottom, one on the top, till they're rotating around. The larvae inside the clump are also floating in the water to keep that ant hill surviving. The ant cluster together creates air pockets so they can actually float on water. Kind of impressive for the old animal kingdom there, how that works. Have you ever seen one of those?
I have not, no.
I've seen it on video, but never in person.
No, I mean, with that kind of flooding, though, I mean, what we're seeing out of Houston is just absolutely unbelievable.
I will be happy to not say the word Harvey ever again in my entire life.
Yeah. Well, now it's Irma, right? Aren't we looking to see?
We're looking to the tropics, and Irma is out there, way out in the Atlantic. It's actually a major hurricane now. It's a Category 3 hurricane, so we're going to be watching Irma. Hopefully we don't have to have a repeat performance, but all the impacts of Harvey still being felt. The area of low pressure, what's left of it, is now circling through northeastern Mississippi as we speak. It brought flooding rains and tornadoes to North Mississippi. It brought almost the same thing here, not to quite the extent that we had earlier today in Mississippi, but still lots of damage around. We've seen it all evening long and all afternoon long. Our crews did a fantastic job getting to those scenes, getting us the stories, and we appreciate all their hard work tonight. Now we're finally starting to see things quiet down, but we still have a line of storms all the way from Huntsville down through the eastern sections of central Alabama, all the way down through Clanton. Let's take a look at some of these pockets of heavier storms right now, from Vincent down through just near Sylacauga and then down through Clanton. We've got showers and thunderstorms that are producing some lightning and also some heavy rain. All of this moving to the east pretty rapidly, from Gadsden down through the eastern sections of St. Clair County, Riverside, folks near Talladega and Lincoln near the Speedway. You're going to see some rainfall here very shortly as well. All of this racing off to the east. Nothing severe at this time, but these storms have had a history producing some gusty winds, also a lot of lightning and torrential rainfall. Futurecast done a pretty good job today of painting the picture for us, and right now it paints that picture of these storms from Huntsville all the way down through Clanton. As these move out for the rest of the evening, I wouldn't be surprised to find a few more showers lingering around, especially as that area of low pressure rotates around North Alabama, and that will happen throughout the rest of tonight and into early tomorrow morning. I do think, though, and our computer models show that we believe the rainfall should come to an end and start to lift out of here by the afternoon hours with just a few clouds around and maybe a couple of lingering showers for Friday. Temperatures don't get too warm, right near 80 degrees for afternoon highs. Then by Saturday, the Labor Day weekend is looking much, much better. We were hoping Harvey would get out of here by the Labor Day weekend, and it looks like it does. Looks like all clear for us for Saturday morning, even getting into the 50s in some spots for the morning time hours. Then afternoon highs in the low and middle 80s with some drier air getting worked in here. That football forecast for folks in Atlanta heading to the game looking good there. Home openers for Auburn and, of course, UAB here in Birmingham. Things looking good. No rainfall to speak of. That is also some very, very good news. Your Storm Track 7-day forecast, there you see clearing skies for Saturday and into Sunday. We'll see a decent Labor Day forecast with temperatures in the upper 80s, and then rainfall, though, does return for Tuesday and into Wednesday. Guys, back over to you.
I like the new look game day forecast there, and I like the sunshine on it. Jimbo Fisher, a ray of sunshine for Florida State, but he has a strong connection here to Birmingham.
Yeah, his roots at Samford can definitely still be felt today. We'll bring you the backstory coming up in sports.
I got you.
Who plays tomorrow?
Okay.
Yeah. It is, but it won't unless there's not necessarily a guarantee. I don't know how long. If somebody went over there and moved the mouse, then it would go for the rest of the show. But it's possible that it'll shut off.
College football is underway in the state of Alabama. Samford at home in the middle of a thunderstorm against Kennesaw State. And some rumblings from the away team early in the second quarter. The KSU goes up in the end zone 7-0. It did not take Samford very long to respond. Ensuing drive, that's a touchdown. Devlin Hodges to Chris Schelling. We are tied at 7. The Owls will get a field goal before half, 10-7. Then the rain and the weather, that tornado warning came. They're still in that delay. They're hoping to finish the game at 10:45 to resume it tonight. If you walk through the halls at Samford, you'll see the last name Fisher plastered everywhere. Jimbo played quarterback there in 1987. He set a bunch of school records, but the backstory is more fascinating than that. Jimbo started his career at Salem in West Virginia for an up-and-coming coach named Terry Bowden. The two played against Samford in 1984. His freshman year, beat him 82-9. 3 years later, Jimbo and Bowden came to Samford and had to earn their teammates' respect.
He wasn't a bully. He used it. We knew he was in charge. He was a guy to be respected. He earned our respect. He knew he had, whether we want, but I mean, he did what he needed to do to earn it. And so by the time practice rolled around, we're like, okay, this guy's the real deal.
30 years later, Jimbo playing in the biggest opener ever in a brand new Mercedes-Benz Stadium. And we are going to show it to you live on our air, 4 to 7 o'clock, our pregame show, College Football Saturday before the Alabama game. Auburn star defensive end Marlon Davidson's been hampered by injury, and it might affect him come game time Saturday. Reports that Davidson could be limited against Georgia Southern, certainly hoping to get him back full health against Clemson. J.J. Watt had that fundraiser for Harvey, wanted to get $10.5 million. He's already reached that, and he's going for more. Still has 2 days left. He's distributing that money on Sunday. Dabo Swinney's got a brand new ride, and just in time for college football season. If Clemson makes it back to the national title game, maybe that'll be his vehicle of choice when he rides into Atlanta on January 8th. We'll be right back.
All right, one last look at our storm track radar right now. This is the line of storms. Not severe, no tornadoes, no severe thunderstorm warnings with this. Thank goodness. We just have a line of storms now moving just east of Huntsville down through Clanton. This will continue to move off to the east for the rest of the evening. And you see the storm track 7-day forecast. After some morning rain tomorrow, things clear out for Labor Day weekend. Actually looking like a really nice weekend around the Deep South, even in Atlanta for the big game. Florida State and Alabama. I know I'll be watching.
And with daybreak tomorrow, with Art and the gang, we'll be covering the cleanup and the recovery over in West Alabama.
And we're going to leave you tonight with some of those viewer images that you sent in to us. Thank you again for sending us those images. Continue to do so at WIAT Report It.